everyone, welcome to Eve Talk. I am your host, delonewolf. And man, it's been very hot here in Belgium in the last week. So coming home after a hard day's work in a room that's 35 degrees Celsius, it's pretty difficult to play a lot of games and to try and make videos. Still, I'm glad I managed to make one video a day, but it's been pretty tiring work, to be honest. Luckily there were quite a few topics that were pretty interesting about changes in EVE Online, so I did manage to find some stuff to talk about, and let's have a seat. And in this EVE Talk, as always, let's have a look at the markets. So we'll start off with a few of the minerals. This is the titanium chart, a 3-month chart. Overall we still see the uptrend, but right here at the tail end some lower data points, so a stabilization of the titanium at around what prices? Let's have a look. 669, so yeah, that's down a few cents in ISK for the sellers, and then the buyers 642, so that's half an ISK in margin. No, maybe 0.3 ISK in margin. It's at least more margin than there was before, so this looks like a price point around which there are up and down forces for supply and demand. So yeah, 650, between 650 and 7 ISK seems to be a price for titanium at the moment. Pyrite, what's pyrite doing? Pretty much the same. We can clearly see the uptrend here from maybe 7 ISK to almost 14 ISK, so that's a doubling of the price in 3 months. But right here at the tail end we can see some data points going downward again, and a stabilization of the price at around what would that be, 1250, maybe 1288, yeah, almost 13 ISK, and sellers 1252, so pretty much the same margin as for titanium. Looks like it has found its new price here at between 1250 and 13 ISK. Pretty interesting that stuff seems to have stabilized. I guess people have begun to settle in their jobs, either as miners or for the manufacturers on the new prices. And pretty much the same thing. It's not as clear, but an uptrend from, I would say, a little over 50 to just over 60 ISK for Mexalon, and then a few downward data points again at the tail end here. Let's have a look at the price. 60.47 ISK for the sellers, although that's a very small order. 62.38. Oh, that's quite a margin after these 2,600 Mexalon have been bought. So yeah, I'd say 62.38 for the sellers, 60.45 for the buyers. Once again, a bit more margin, 2 ISK margin for Mexalon here in Jita at the moment. So it looks like indeed a price for minerals has been found, and people are now back into the normal, bidding up against each other, trying to manipulate the market a little bit if they can, and that this shows these data points that go up and down a little bit more around the green and the red lines, rather than have a clear downtrend or a clear uptrend, which we've had in the last 3 months. That's pretty interesting. Of course, the mineral market is bound to be influenced again by changes, which is in this case the mining barges. So let's have a look at what the Hulk price have done. Stable at 280, and maybe some data points that point downwards, 276. I think that's the same price we've seen in the last few weeks, and 260 for the buyers. That's 15-16 million margin there. That's still pretty doable. But of course the Hulk is still the baseline miner with the largest yield that you can possibly have. So let's have a look at the Mackinac, which will changed substantially. Here we can see it's not clear on the graph that much, but while the price has been going up and down pretty much around 170 million, right here we have a few data points and then a red line that shoots up sharply at the announcement of the changes, because of course for solo miners the Mackinac is going to replace the Hulk. There's no question about that, and there's even a data point at 210 million ISK, a few more at just below 200. So I am expecting this to have a serious impact. Yeah, there we go. Sellers 209 million ISK for the Mackinac, buyers 182 million. Wow, that's how much is there in between? That's almost 30 million on a price of 200 million of margin. So yeah, there's definitely trading going on in the Mackinacs. The changes are going to have an influence for the Mackinac. There is no doubt about that. I think we can expect price increase. 210 million, yeah, that it's definitely a possibility. I think the Mackinac is going up in value after the announced changes. Definitely. Let's have a quick look at the skiff then. That one has a similar chart. You know, it went up, then back down again, and then up again. But right here at the tail end, there's this really sharp increase in the price. So it's pretty obvious. The skiff, if you look at most of the chart, it was between, let's say, 80 and 120 million for most of the last 3 months. Right now, sellers 168 million ISK. So that's like 50 million above what the normal price is, and the buying orders have clearly lagged behind. You know, 110, 111 are the normal buy orders. Then we see up 125 and 130. Those are pretty big jumps. People are clearly expecting these prices to go up a lot, and on the other hand, there's only like one buy order of 130, one of 125. So I do think if you place your buy orders below these prices, but like 10 million, 15 million above the normal price, you can probably pick up a few cheap mining ships. Well, cheap not compared to the old prices, but compared to where the prices are going. If you look at sell orders, even 200 million for a skiff, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, these ships are going up in value. Obviously they'll be a lot stronger. We can expect some high demand for it right after the patch goes live. People will experiment with them a little bit, and definitely switch from hulks to Mackinacs, and then possibly to skiffs and procurers. Let's have a look at that one, if I can find it. Procurer. That one, it's not in the same league of price, you know, 5.3 million, 7 million, but the chart is pretty much the same. You know, we had up, down, and then right here the red line is way up, where the chart is normally between 2 and 5 million. We now have sell prices of 7 to 8 million. Yeah, the price, the prices of mining ships, they're going way up because of the announced changes. So I don't know, if you want to invest some money, you might be able to pick up a few cheap ones with some buy orders, especially in further away sectors that are not so close to the trade hubs. You might actually be able to still pick up a few cheap mining ships, and there's some ISK to be made in that market, in my opinion. Alright, let's move on to the Tech 3 markets. I'll just go over the Tengu to get a quick feel of what that market is. I'm not that invested in it myself, but I would say that the downtrend is confirming itself. Data points clearly below the green graph. The price of the Tengu back down below 220 million, where it started 3 months ago at above 240 million. Let's have a look. 215 million even for sell orders. So it looks like Wormhole Tech has been stabilizing quite a bit, and there's now a steady supply that can handle most of the demand. Pretty stable price with a slight downtrend in the Tech 3 market, I would say. The most important The PLEX, of course, let's have a look at that chart. Back up a little bit where it dipped just below 480 million, and the data points have gone up a little, and then there's a final data point just on 480 million. So that looks like the new price for the PLEX. Sellers in station 485 pretty much, buyers in station 477, and I think that's up maybe a little bit from last week, but not that much. So this looks to be the normal price for PLEX at the moment. I don't know what I would do at this point, if I would consider some PLEX trading. Maybe buy a few. Let's have a look at the 6-month chart. Considering it's been up to 500 million, it is not impossible, in my opinion, that because activity has slowed down a bit in ETH during this summer, the closer we'll get to the winter expansion, we could see some market speculation and market forces drive the price of PLEX back up from where it is now. I'm personally not going to risk it, I think, yeah, because I want to invest in some PvP ships and stuff like that, but I don't think it would be a bad investment. A few PLEX at the current price. Of course, I'm no specialist. Take it all with a grain of salt and do your own research. And because I don't want people to complain that they lost money because they bought PLEX at the current prices. But personally, I think it might be a good investment. Well, I think that's going to be it for this episode. The mineral market, the mining market, is under some heavy speculation because of all the announced changes. This will have its impact, I think, on Tech 1 ships, although it still is going to depend on whether or not these changes are going to increase supply of Tech 1 minerals, which I expect personally that it will. So on a longer term, I think we could expect like a downtrend in Tech 1 prices for Tech 1 chips and stuff like that. I use a lot of minerals. Anyways, that's my opinion. And that's it for this week. I'll see you guys next time.